If the stomach and intestine do not move, food and drink cannot be digested or absorbed. Yin blood depends on yang qi to circulate it throughout the body, while the organs that produce qi are dependent on blood to nourish them. Those structure yin independent on function yang, and vice versa. Without structure, the function would not perform, while without function, the structure would lack movement and ability to perform. The qualities of interdependence of yin and yang can be seen in the following theorem. Okay, ikita naman sa theorem yung yin and yang. Ano ibig sabihin ng kanina sa taas? Pag kulang yung isa, hindi magpa-function. Pag kulang naman yung isa, hindi rin mag-move. No? Yung isang bagay. Kaya, stomach and intestine, hindi mag-move. Yung food and drink, hindi madadigest. Kaya ang kinain natin, ininom, magdadigest siya, kung ang stomach natin nag-move, nagpa-function. Okay? The theorems of yin and yang. Number 1. Infinity divides itself into yin and yang. 2. Yin and yang results from the infinite movement of the universe. Number 3. Although they are opposite ends of continuum, yin and yang are complementary and form a unity. Number 4. Yang contains the seed of yin and yin contains the seed of yang. Number 5. Yin is centrifugal and yang is centrifugal. Together, they produce all energy and phenomena. Number 6. Yin attracts yang and yang attracts yin. 7. Yin repels yin and yang repels yang. Hanggang 14, no? Number 8. The force of attraction and repulsion between any two phenomena, law, proportional to the difference between their yin and yang constitution. Number 9. All things are ephemeral and constantly changing their yin and yang constitution. Number 10. Nothing is neutral. Okay? Either yin or yang is dominant. 11. Nothing is solely yin or yang. Everything involves polarity. Next, number 12. Yin and yang are relative. Large yin attracts small yin, and large yang attracts small yang. At the extreme of manifestation, yin turns into yang, and yang turns into yin. Last, 14. All physical forms are yin, and the center and yang on the surface. Intertransformation. Okay? The intertransformation, as stated before, yin and yang are dynamic states which actually transform into each other. At their extremes, yin can change into yang, and yang can change into yin. We are familiar with this in the daily cycle of our life. As night turns into day, and then day turns into night. Winter eventually turns into summer, while summer moves into winter, and birth eventually turns into death. Yan yung binanggit ko po kanina. Bubuhay tayo, eventually turns into death. Then, mamatay tayo. Lilitaw, mawawala, parang bula. Pero, nagkaroon ng development. Karoon ng structure, karoon ng function. That's the intertransformation. Okay? To waxing and waning. The waxing and waning of yin into yang and vice versa is not random, but only occurs when the condition is right for it, when a certain stage of development has been reached. This is experienced in the body when we work without cessation. Yang, ultimately ending up exhausted and depleted. Pathological terms. In pathological terms, an excess of cold can change into heat and vice versa. For instance, a cold may begin with chills and progress to severe fever and even pneumonia. Frostbite can result in a burning inflammation. Heat changing to cold occurs as a result of an acute inflammatory symptom that weakens the vital force and degenerates to a more chronic cold condition. Further, during the course of an extreme fever with restlessness, irritability, and strong pulse, yang, the patient suddenly becomes listless. The temperature lowers, the face turns pale, and the pulse becomes very weak. That's yin. In many hot tropical countries, food is heavily spiced with chili peppers. This results in excessive perspiration, which makes one feel cooler. Okay, next, let us go to deficiencies in excess. Deficiencies in excess can also have manifestation of their opposite. A deficiency of spleen energy can result in an excess of dampness, while a kidney or liver yin deficiency can lead to an excess of liver yang hypertension. Okay, that's deficiency in excess. This thinking also extends to the use of yin or yang foods and herbs. Too much yang sweet flavor will cause yin exhaustion. Overuse of tonic herbs can have the paradoxical opposite effect of causing exhaustion and stagnation. In excess, extremely hot spices can overstimulate and exhaust the chi. Yun pala yun. Exhausting chi pag excess ang spicy. Next, recognizing the yin and yang are mutually transformative is an important way of helping us refrain from overdoing anything that could ultimately upset our balance and health. A summary of the intertransformation of yin and yang is stated in the following law. Let us read. Law governing yin and yang. Number 1. Okay, 1 to 7 po ito. There is a law governing yin and yang. All things are the differentiated apparatus of one infinity. Number 2. Everything changes. Third law. All antagonism are complementary. Fourth. No two things are identical. The fifth. Every condition has its opposite. 6. Extremes always produce their opposite. And last, 7. Whatever begins has an end. Yun. Okay. Let us go to number 4. Mutual consumption. Consumption. The dynamic balance of yin and yang is maintained by a continuous adjustment of each of their relative level. In the waxing and waning of the seasons, when winter is ending, that is yin, begin to decrease while yang increases. When day comes to an end, yang decreases while yin increases with the development of night. Thus, while continuously balancing one another, they also consume each other. When one increases, the other must decrease. When yin increases, yang is consumed.
And when yang increases, yin is consumed. Okay?